So I said to myself, why aren't you live right now? I need to find myself a real tripod. We're restringing the guitar right now. You know what? This will probably work. Oops. Sorry. It would be nice. Bear with me. I need to point down. Yeah, there you go. Whoop. Almost. We almost had it. There we go. For the moment, you guys gonna hang out with me while I restring my guitar. It's just an acoustic. It has no pickups, but I love banging around on it. It's an old Washburn, for those of you who know guitars. And it has been, as my friend who gave it to me said, left out on the beach before overnight. When I got it, it had actually a break in the body, and I super glued it back together. One of those guitars, you know. And but I love it because it plays music. When I was a small kid, I actually learned from a book or from school, maybe music class in school, how to make a little, I think it was a shoebox guitar with elastic bands. And I played that thing. Yeah. And no, I'm not really tuning it right now. I'm excited. New strings make your guitar sound like $1,000,000. I don't care what condition the guitar is in. A set of new strings, which could cost you as low as, $5, will make your guitar sing like it wants to sing, like you want it to sing. You learn yourself a G, a D, an A, or an E chord, you're off and running. You can play the blues. You can just zip around and play happy music. And, that's what we want. We want to play music. So learn yourself this 3 chords. And 1, you can play a lot of songs. But 2, you can have fun. Because remember, it's called playing music. You are playing. We are playing. And I like playing because playtime is fun. Okay. I have one of those little winders. These things are like $3 and will save your fingers all the time in the world. It goes on the machine head and just twists it for you. So you can tighten up your new string. Now it's not going to be in the right. It's not going to be the right note, but you want some tension on your strings as you're putting them in, because strings stretch out. So if you think about it, as you're putting them in, you want to stretch them. So stretch and deform while you're playing actual chords that are supposed to sound one way, but don't, because you've not pre-stretched your strings. Okay? Now I'm a hack, and I'm just doing this like, just get them on there. I wind the string around the nut like 4 or 5 times, and then I thread the tip of the string through, I don't know if I can explain it right, but through some of the winds, so that when I clamp it tightly, those winds, I don't if that's the right way to say it, will clamp down on the string and hold it. It's always worked for me. I played guitar for, I don't know, 25 years or something now. Couldn't play a full song for the life of me, but again, I just love banging around on it. Oh, it moved in the back where the peg is. That's okay. That's okay. See, I'm pulling up on it right now. Can you see? I'm stretching it. Stretching it out. Don't be so worried about breaking your strings. You know, I've been dirt poor myself and couldn't afford more than one set. And yes, I've snapped that high E edge bay, E-A-D-G-B-E, edge bay. The high E, this guy, the slinky string, more than once, of course. And I know it's a complete downer. And you want to just take the handle or the neck of your guitar in hand and smash it like a Jimi Hendrix video. But don't do that. Try and stay calm. Because you can still play your guitar with only 5 strings. Especially if it's just that high E that you're missing. You can play all kinds of blues stuff. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. That's alright, we fixed it. I think. I know you guys don't have a great view, and I apologize. I will change that up in about 3 minutes. But this was an afterthought going live. And I just figured, well, I'm doing a project. I'd like my friends along with me, so come on in. But I didn't set up a tripod or anything, so. Oh, man. Well, that's ugly as sin. But, one, I have 2 other sets of strings, so I could fix it. Or 2, I don't care. I mean, I care a little bit about everything, but I can't get freaked out these days. I just don't have the energy. Work kills me. And oh boy, I wish I weren't saying that. You know what an uplifting thing is, though? Or lately for me? MUFON contacted me. They returned my... You know what MUFON is? The guys that keep tabs on the alien stuff and anything paranormal. They got back to me because I sent them a story about an adventure I was on one night. Whoa. Now we're back. 7-string guitar, not a 5-string guitar anymore. Woohoo! Welcome to my live show. Jeremiah Lee coming to you from Boston, Massachusetts. In fact, I'm coming to you from Marlborough, Massachusetts. One of the boroughs. Borough, Marlborough, Northborough, Westborough, Southborough, Eastborough. Actually, I don't know if there's an Eastborough, but there should be. All right, I'm still with you. That's why I'm being loud. I know you can only see my baby, but don't worry, we'll get to the real stuff. See, I told you I've got 2 more packages, so if we really made a mistake, yes, we could fix it. So I've got a tuner and all this and all that, but I actually choose to go on. Oh, you know what? I'm already on YouTube. Well, I've got my computer open, so I can do that. Yeah, maybe we'll use the tuner. Maybe. Oh, there's no battery in it. I can already feel it's light. This is my tuner. You know, one of those digital things. You just play the open key, play the open string, and it comes to you. We don't have a battery for that right now, which is totally fine. What they do have is a glass slide. And a glass slide is a helpful thing when you want to bang around on your personal guitar. Now I gotta figure out where to put the camera. I'm gonna pull it in here. Shoot, I had a perfect thing for the camera back in the day. Oh, okay, you're out of my rafters. You're out of my, you were in the joists of my ceiling. Now you're free. Hello, everybody. I've got 27 people watching me right now. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I'm a little bit sweaty and a little bit ready. Because it's a rainy day here in Massachusetts. A miserable, rainy, cold day. Actually, I kind of like it. I won't lie to you. I like this weather. But it's not really weather that you race to go out and play in. So I'm coming. You know, it might be good. I'm not sure if that helps or if that hurts, but can you even see it? Nope. There it is. Ha! And it's gone now. I'm so blind I can hardly even see the screen. What you're seeing up there, that is a bounce board for lighting. That's a credential for some such show. My guitar strap, those are for rigging. That chain type thing that you see up in the corner. My light is a little bit too hot, which is why it's like a glowing sun behind me. But if I sit just like this, it looks like I have an aura. Or not, you know. And I got some cheesy stickers on my old guitar. Like I said, I don't play songs. Ooh. Let's go to YouTube. Plug in YouTube. Let's go to you. Hey, 30 people. How are ya? Shut up. Ringos. Ringos? Ringo played the drums. Ringo. Look, guys, I made a song. Oh, that's wonderful. We'll put it right here in the refrigerator. I don't know if you guys watch Family Guy at all, but that's... We'll put it right here on the refrigerator. Guitar tune-up standard. Guitar tuning in D. Oh, we've got a commercial for you guys.
Whoa, we're in a parade.
Enough. Enough. See? How close am I? Way high. Start low and then twist up. La 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 la. Ringos. Always start low and tighten it up. Like, don't tune by twisting downwards. Tune by twisting up. Start low and bring her up. This is always the hardest one. Well, we'll see, that was stretched out because it was way too high. We didn't get it. Closer. Who's Irish? Oh! Couldn't have planned for that one. And that one broke? Alright, we'll have to go back and fix it. I can't believe that one string broke. Well, you know what we can do? 25 people. I got one thumbs up. I got one thumbs up for just hanging out and playing guitar. Thank you. No, I appreciate that very much. I love YouTube. I don't know how, but I've got 6,000 plus subscribers. And as I tell all my friends every day, I love each and every one of you because I love people. I love people. I love new connections. I love new ideas. I love new concepts. New to me, of course. I have a couple of stories that I'd like to share too, possibly with you. Like I said, I actually just got a response in a text from the folks over at MUFON, MUFON. You can look it up if you want. If you're not into that stuff, that's okay too. But I am, and that's why I wrote in. I'll tell you the story because I'm not embarrassed to at all. One night, while deep asleep, I came to, in my quotation marks here, I came to in a rainbow tiled tube, if you will, or a tunnel that was only big enough for my body to fly through it at an incredible rate of speed, head first, hands down to my side, like I was a torpedo, put it that way. I hadn't thought about that before, but as if I were shot out of a submarine like a torpedo. And the first thought I had was, don't move your fingers or arms because you'll hit the inside of this tube and you will be jammed in it like a misfire in a gun. And folks, I'm not telling you I know where I ended up. I'm not telling you that I was abducted. I'm not telling you that maybe I was astral traveling. Is that what it's called? Astral projecting. But it was as real as me sitting here winding this string on this guitar right now. And I've had plenty of dreams that felt real, and you wake up and you're like, man, I was there, wherever there was. This was not that. This was something completely different. So much so that I wrote to MUFON about it. And I'm glad that I wrote it the way that I did, meaning I used the words that I used, and I was as honest can be. And that's why they responded to me. The director of the Massachusetts section, I guess, or, you know, end of MUFON got back to me directly, which, if, Eric, if you ever see this video, thank you with all of my heart. I mean that. This stuff is real to me, and I'd like to... You fucking kidding me? Okay, these strings suck. That's why they're Amazon strings. Okay, well, there's a couple of things we can do here. I have one more set. Full set. Or I could use one of the other strings to fill in that void, which is what I'm going to do, because I think that particular string is too thin or too, I don't know, manufactured cheaply. I mean, this string never snaps. Again, I've been playing guitar for over 20 years. I've never snapped the E, A, D, G, the G string in my life. Sorry, no pun intended there. I've never snapped the G string on my guitar. I've snapped plenty of G strings in the bedroom, but not on my guitar. Hey, come on, that was G rated, whatever. I like the well, you know what, we'll just leave it there. to put it this way, I've had plenty of girlfriends, and I've loved every one of them in their own special way. I'm single right now, and that's, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. I really don't have an opinion on that right now. I'm kind of busy getting my life back together after some pretty good punches that I received from, well, life itself. But, you know, life gets you down, you got to get yourself back up. So, I mean, half of that's why I'm on YouTube, so I can express myself and so I can see what other people are up to and feel like part of the world. So I felt a little separated there for a little while. And as every human knows, that loneliness is, it's tough. Being lonely or lonesome is very, very tough. And, you know, I'm no tough guy, so it hurt. It hit home. But whatever. Knock, knock. Come on in. It's life. He called me Ringo. Probably be called George Harrison, but, you know, you can't choose them. Anyway, so we're in Massachusetts. It's Sunday night. I think it's the 13th of October. Oh, and I have no bridge. Forgot about that. This guitar is so whack. That's why I throw strings on it in a hack way. It doesn't really matter, does it? So we tighten them up like that. I now have two identical diameter or width the strings, and we'll see how it sounds. I mean, all you have to do is tighten it to the right note, and you should be all right. Where are you? There you go. Don't snap, don't snap, don't snap, 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 don't snap. Up, 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 up. Up, up, up. Met her in a hotel. Nah, I don't know any songs, but I don't know if I'd start off my lives with Lola, although it's a hell of a sing-along song. L-O-L-A Lola, G-L-O-R-I Gloria. tell a lot by the way a guy strums his guitar. I'm obviously way too tuned up, too high strung. There's a lot of guys would just come and grab their guitar and just play a little. But I'm over here. Mr. Wim Hof. He's the guy that's all about the breathing. W-I-M. Sorry, I had to pick in my mouth. W-I-M-H-O-F-F. Wim Hof. I picked up his book. It's actually a great read. It's an easy read too. He is the guy that learned some serious meditation and learned how to breathe so well that he could be in just a pair of underwear in the, I don't know, Adirondacks or way up in the mountains in the snow and not freeze. Wim Hof. I don't work with him. I don't work for him. I'm not trying to plug him. I'm just saying he's a good guy in my book. Need a capo. You know, this isn't my, for the 20 of you that are here, I am just banging around on the guitar, and I'm so glad you're here because it makes me feel like I'm not playing to myself. But I'm not a guitar channel. I just happen to have a beat-up guitar in my hand right now. What kind of a channel am I? Jerry, you've got to tune it if you're going to do that. Oh, yeah. I don't know what kind of channel I am yet. I'm a string snapping channel. That's what I am. I think that tells me to put it away. That's that same damn string. E, A, D, G. I keep snapping the G. Why? I've never snapped a G string in my life. I'm not even going to say the stupid joke again. That is weird. But now I know why those sets of strings were so cheap. I guess spend more than $10 for 3 sets of strings, I guess. So let's see what we can look up here. What's going on in the world of Google? You know what I was going to do? I was going to look up AI stuff and tell you guys what all happened with it. But my AI is on my phone. You know, the Well, I haven't even used it in a million years. What's it called? ChatGPT. GPT. Um, yeah, I think that's just it. ChatGPT. GPT. She's not on the computer though. Um, what I have in front of me right now is I work in a machine shop presently, which is extremely hard. Well, extremely tedious. I've worked hard. I've worked laborious jobs before. I'm not quite a laborer, but I've been a plumber, or at least a plumber's helper. Can't call yourself a plumber unless you're licensed, and I was not licensed. So, but that was hard work. I mean, talk about earning your money. Try getting old boilers out of historical homes. I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, and Newton is a very affluent city. It's not a town. It has, I believe, there are 15 or 16 villages or little areas, like boroughs, if you will. That's a lot of little areas to have in one city. Um, Grew up in Newton. Where was I going with this? Oh, plumbing. Um, so when I came back from LA, I was out in LA for about 8 years, working on some crazy stuff. I worked on the Oscars, the Emmys, the Grammys, and then I actually got. So I was doing kind of office stuff for those shows. So I was working in production. I had my little lanyard, had my cool clothes on. I was looking styling. I had all access all of the time. I mean, I was on the red carpet 3 years in a row at the Oscars. I almost, I almost bumped Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise right off the carpet into the press. Ooh, that would have been horrifying. I was backing up. Somebody called me. They rent you a tuxedo because if you have to go onto the red carpet for anything, again, we were putting together the show. I was working for the production company who had done it for the last 30 years. I mean, those guys are in like Flynn. A Louis J. Horvitz production. Shout out to Louis J. if you ever see this. I love you, man. Thanks for all the work. That was a great time. So they rent you a tuxedo and they put you out in the world with a walkie-talkie on your belt. So of course I go out to the red carpet. Now I've been told not to go hover on the red carpet, but I am allowed to go out onto it. So and the red carpet is huge. You guys have all seen the award shows. It's hundreds of feet wide and even more hundreds of feet long. So in the middle of it, somebody called my name, and I turned to see who it was because who knows me out on the red carpet? Probably another coworker, right? Or maybe my boss going, "Hey, what are you doing out here?" So I turned and I kept walking backwards. And at some point, thank God, my mind said, "Jerry, you're going to bump into somebody, and it could be somebody important." And as I turned around, so this is dating when I was there. So I worked 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 99. So 4 years I was there. 4 years I was on that. The same company produces the Oscars and the Grammys and the Latin Grammys and the Emmys. All of the award shows are run by, or were at least, it's been a while since I've been in LA, are run by one production company. They do switch off executive producers. Um, Many of you probably already know executive producing means that you have the connections to the money who is going to support the show for that year. Um, Gil Cates was one of them, as I recall. Super nice guy. Um, so I worked with three kings. That's how I refer to them. Louis J. Horvitz is the one that I've already mentioned because I worked in his office. My paychecks had his name on them. Secondly was Michael Seligman, another executive producer. And then there was Don Mischer. Um, And these are the three guys that I always put on the award shows. They were known for it. You could talk to anybody in any country that has ever seen an award show and say, "Oh, Louis J. Horvitz," and they'll go, "Oh yeah, Louis J." They'll know him. So that was my introduction. I worked at Starbucks for about 6 months just to make money, just to make anything. Because when I got to LA, I had one friend. Thank God. Shout out to Matt Goodman. Woo! Without Matt, I never would have left Newton. I never would have spread my wings. I never would have figured out who I was. I never would have. Well, who knows if I never would have. But Matt Goodman was my couch. He lived in West Hollywood, which was cool. And I was on his couch for about a month, and I used up my last money to get myself a little studio apartment right one street above Hollywood Boulevard at basically Gower, which Gower is one of the main roads that goes down to Gower Gulch, which is Gower Studios, which is like which is Oprah's studio. Judge Judy used to be shot over on that lot. It's the beginning of where all the sound stages and studios are. Paramount Studios is a couple of blocks down southeastwardly. LA is great because it's actually a grid system. I don't know where you guys live, but I live in Boston. And Boston, if you don't know why, is a bunch of one-ways and roundabouts and crazy roads that go nowhere because they started out as cow paths. Cow paths. Yeah. Everybody talks about how New York was the first city and maybe Virginia, and God bless Virginia because they really did a lot to make America. But Boston was kind of the original. Plymouth Rock is in Massachusetts. It's not in New York. No slight on New York. I worked in New York. I worked in Brooklyn when I was working on This Old House, the show This Old House. Yes, a lot of you know what I meant when I said that, but there are others who are like, "What old house? Where was this old house?" And that gets into a whole line of jokes. But anyway, we did a winter project in Brooklyn, a place called Park Slope. Shout out to Park Slope, Mike Streaman. Mike Streaman was the general contractor out there. Yes, the show usually uses Tommy, Tom Silva, but in the winter projects, sometimes they switch gears and they used a guy named Mike Streaman. We had Richard Trethewey there. We had Roger Cook there. We had everybody. Kevin O'Connor was there. OMG, it's KOC was there. We had a great time. We were in Park Slope, like I said, which is a part of Brooklyn, working on one of the brownstones, having it remodeled, which was absolutely awesome. But cold, and it's hard when they take out the heating of the building and you're working on it in the winter because with the heating goes the plumbing. So the only bathroom you had was a blue box out on the sidewalk, and there was no heat in the house, so it was layer up time. But anyway, back to Hollywood. So I got to meet. I met Mel Gibson. I met God, I always forget his name, and this is ridiculous for me to say, but who was the Godfather? The horror. The gentleman in. I should be reading these. How to Stop Beating. The Musk robots are looking interesting. The Musk robots. Musk. I don't know what the Musk robots are, but Massachusetts just ignores the Second Amendment. Ignores. Massachusetts is hard on the Second Amendment. They make you run. They run you over the coals. I've taken my safety course twice. I don't have my LTC right now. I'm not going to get into why that is, but I have taken my safety course twice because I'm all about the Second Amendment. It's funny that you say that. Cop 350ZX. Um, you can't stop it. I'm sorry, Teed. Is that supposed to be Ted? Stretched out like you. Whoa! Play something that isn't boring. Well, one, snap the string, and two, I'm a noodler. That's all I am. I'm a noodler. If I had, I know how to play drums. You can't tune by ear. I can, but I tune everywhere. I actually tune high when I tune by ear. Um, and I've had plenty of people try and play with me, and they're like, "Well, yeah, what, you don't know how to play." And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm probably just a half octave up, which I shouldn't be." Um, yeah, the guitar, man. I'm one of those people that can't stick with one thing for more than a year. So it's incredible that the guitar stayed with me, but I couldn't play a full song for the life of me. And I'm not saying I wouldn't even imagine me going up on stage and trying to just do some rhythm guitar for somebody, even if there were only three chords. I mean, I can daydream about it, but I live in reality. I'm more grounded than that. Um, I'm curious what you meant by the Musk, but Musk robots were looking interesting. Oh, you mean maybe Elon? Is Elon Musk here? Do I have a Musk robot? I've got Mickey and I've got Cop. What's her name from The Simpsons? I've got Dr. McGillicuddy's up there. I'm the real McGillicuddy. I'm not the McCoy. I'm the real McGillicuddy. So yeah, back to LA, man. LA was a trip. I had that studio apartment, and I had let's see, one, two, three girlfriends in the building, and one other that I had met. No, two others that I had met at work. Because mind you, I was a 24-year-old guy. I had never lived out of Newton, Massachusetts when I moved to LA, Hollywood. And I moved there for just that reason. I didn't have any background in television or film. I wasn't a theater student. I wasn't a student at all. I probably spent, a third of the time I was supposed to spend in school actually in school. But everybody else was getting married around me. Everybody else was kind of cutting out and didn't have time anymore. So I said, all right, I'm not done yet. I'm going to jump in my 1985 Honda CRX and drive across country with triptychs, not with GPS, with AAA books with a highlighted route, which is just insanity, especially when you start hitting construction in the middle of cornfield, Idaho, or maybe that's potatoes. I don't know. When I drove across country, the triptych wanted me on Route 90 because I was going to San Francisco first. My sister lived up. My sister's boyfriend was part of that Netscape bubble. Like his best friend still is Napster, or one of his good friends is Napster. You guys remember Napster? The old music um, streaming or downloading type situation. That was one of the early ones. So they lived up. In their backyard was Alcatraz. They lived on an old Navy base that was literally known as Treasure Island, which was cool as hell. So you'd wake up and you'd be in the morning San Francisco fog, and then when the fog lifted, you'd see Alcatraz sitting right there as you're sitting out in the backyard having your coffee or whatever, um, or planning on your next build for Burning Man because they were way into Burning Man. Like they were one of them. They meaning they had a house with I think three roommates and my sister. So my sister, her boyfriend, and then two roommates. But there were always many other people over, and they built a car that you could fill with water on the inside. Not an aquatic car, but a car that you could drive while you were like in a swimming situation, which was pretty awesome. And they went out to Burning Man in that thing. I mean, the car was a POS, but the concept was there, right? So driving across, I got to see Chicago after 21 hours straight of driving. That was nuts. That's when I found my first hotel. So I had to get through New York because I had outstanding tickets in New York. So I had to get through that. I had to get through Pennsylvania because I ended up in Pennsylvania at like 3 a.m. Pea soup fog. I don't know if you guys know what a Honda CRX is, but it's a tiny little go kart of a car. It's like a golf cart with a roof, a little 5 speed. So wasn't exactly comfortable for a dude who was 6 feet tall, and I was slimmer back then. I was probably 195 pounds or something like that. But I found myself driving it with my putter sometimes on the gas because my hip was killing me so bad from pushing on the pedal. Because I wanted to get to the West Coast. I definitely wanted to get across the country. There's 6 of you right now, and I love that you're still there. I appreciate that you're just hanging out with me and listening to me ramble. And I'm going to keep rambling as long as I see numbers there. I've got a secondary thumbs up. And I know there's going to be dudes trolling and hating, and that's like I've done that before. I am so addicted to YouTube that I will sit there for 10, 12 hours and just troll people. I don't throw shade. I don't feel like that's me. There's plenty of times where I think, wow, that's something I could, dog on, but it's just I don't do it. But I know there are fucking many people that do, and God bless them. Do your thing, man. That's what social media is about, doing your thing. So I'm just trying to get numbers right now. I only started this maybe 4 months ago, something like that, 4 or 5 months ago. But I've got stories, so this live thing will work out nicely. I've got stories, and I like driving, so there'll be some more lives while driving. I'm going to try and figure out the camera facing out, so you don't always have to see my face. So you'll enjoy checking out Massachusetts from the inside of my car, basically. And yes, I know the windshield reflects sometimes. Remember I said I worked on this old house? Well, I was the gaffer, which is lights. It's the electrician, it's the lighting guy, it's the guy that makes that bloom the way it does. That could be a lot sharper, that light behind me, but I softened it up with some diffusion. So when it's behind me, it's really just a source. It's not a hot, yeah, it's a hot spot, but we've played with a little bit. These lights are a little bit harsh that you see coming from this side. Shadow myself. Yeah, they're pretty harsh. But this is my second live stream. You guys are here, and I appreciate that. And other than that, hey, we'll see what happens next time. My first one, I was walking on a beautiful day. I was going to get my car. Car was getting an oil change, and the guys were so stoned they forgot to call me. 3 hours later, I'm like, "Yo, where's my car?" "Oh yeah, you're the one with the Honda." Yeah, I'm the one with the Accord. Yeah. "Oh, it's done." "Why'd you ask for my number if you weren't going to call me and tell me my car was done?" "Yeah, but that's all right. I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm always a nice guy, always happy and go lucky. I'm just saying I don't like throwing shade at people because I don't like it coming at me. So who's out there right now? The Musk robots are looking interesting. Massachusetts just ignores them. Batman sending greetings. Batman! Hi, 4 a.m. I love you, man. I love you back. My sign off for Facebook, it was I love each and every one of you. Now look at me. I'm not some hippy dippy guy. I'm not like, hey man, I love all of you. No. But I love each and every one of you because you're my species. You're my community. You're my friends. I'll be a friend with you until you burn me. That's how I see things. So if you never burn me, then we'll be friends forever. Like maybe I won't see you for the next 10 years, but I remember people. I certainly remember faces. I remember situations. I might skip on your name, but that's because I've met, thousands of people. I worked freelance for 20 years. I mean, my let's see, how do you say that? The length of my jobs were on average 2 days. Usually one day, I'll be honest, it's not even 2 days, but that sounds totally ludicrous. So I'll say 2 days. You go in the morning. I mean, let's jump to when I was actually a camera assistant or an AC, assistant cameraman. I'd show up, I'd go to production wherever their trailer was. Now the set could be anywhere. It could be in one of the sound stages. It could be on one of the back lots of one of the sound stages, or it could be in the middle of the desert somewhere where we shot part of a McDonald's commercial with Luke Perry was out there. The kid that did the first Superman on his dirt bike, Cowboy Kenny, he was out there, all mashed up. The scarring is crazy on his chin. Um, and that was out in the middle of the desert. But then we ended up over the next day on the lawn at the Playboy Mansion. That was a 2-dayer, and it was for McDonald's. Might have been for Subway. That's why I'm hesitating a little bit. But it was a food commercial either way. And so my job was to load the camera with film. Okay, I had to get the ammo. Film comes in 400-foot rolls or 1,000-foot rolls. Usually you're using 400-foot rolls. And you're picturing it correctly. The oval thing on top of the camera that says Panavision across the top of it, those were my babies. That's a magazine, and I would put the film in the magazine just like you would load a gun and shoot with it. And I was in charge of all of the film, raw stock, and what was shot on, which is a huge responsibility. Because if I were to ever lose, or God forbid, flash, I'll explain what that means a little bit later, a roll of film, some of you are understanding it already, but that would be on me and me alone. So, say we shot an entire day's work, and I hadn't closed the cans up right when I took the used film out of the camera, and you're doing all of the stuff in a dark room, and dark rooms are not lit with red light like in TV. They are pitch black. There can be no light seepage, leakage, nothing. Photons cannot come into the room. For all of you scientists out there, I know they're going through all of us at all times, but you know what I mean. Absolutely no light can come in. So basically, you do it with your eyes closed to stop thinking that you can see stuff. When you first go into the dark room, which could be a phone booth looking thing, if you're on a sound stage, you guys know what a sound stage is, right? Like the giant stages where the roof is 100 feet up and there's a catwalk up there, and you need a golf carts to get around it because it's so huge. Um, I love you, man. I love it. Um, so it could be a phone booth looking thing, could be as small as that, over on some far corner of the sound stage, or it actually could be in the rented film truck that you got, basically where the pass through would be from the front seats into the back of a box truck. That's where they would put it. So it's all built up, has a little door obviously to get in and out of, and it has a desktop, like a workbench in front of you. And before you start working, you get there way early and you get your equipment out, which is a pair of scissors, certain rolls of tape with certain colors and certain diameters, necessary pens, paperwork for the film that has been shot on, because you're doing a lot of the work in complete darkness. You're grabbing the film magazine, you're putting it down in front of you, and this is all in the dark. You're opening it up, the top flips open, there's hinges in the back of it. The film is now on the right hand side of it, when it was raw, was on the left-hand side of it as you look down into it. You pull that out. You make sure it's tight. The loose end is tight up. There are certain bags that you've already had placed to your right-hand side. You slip it in the bag. You fold the plastic bag over the top. Make sure it's closed tightly. Then you put it in a film canister that we all know what those are. They're about this thick and about this round, just to fit the 400 in. You make sure all of the plastic bag is within the canister, and then you put the top of the canister on. You hold your hand on it, and then you tape it all around the seam so it stays shut. The plastic bag is actually light proof, so there should be no light going through it, but the can is also a can. No light's going through the metal. But the tape is to make sure that no light ever seeps in the side in case it's to hold the lids together, obviously. But you're doing that all blind, completely blind. Then you have to get new film into the magazine because they're going to use the magazine again. Hello, number 6. How are you? I don't know. Brother, sister, welcome. Then you've got to put the new film in, which you have ready. Again, it's sitting over on your left-hand side. Everything is spread out in front of you, left, right. And you're going to do the reverse. You're going to open that can up. You're going to slide the film out of the bag, and this is where it gets interesting. You need to feed the film. So if you're looking down at the magazines, the left-hand side, the film is going to end up looking like a 9. Okay? There are little plastic hubs that you're going to put the film on. No, that's already there. Sorry, I forgot about that. A little plastic guy that clicks onto it's a spool. That's what I'm looking for. The spool clicks onto a little nipple that's inside the magazine. And then you pull out just a certain amount of film and feed it through the bottom middle of the magazine. So now there's film outside of the magazine. Remember, it's pitch black. The film is not getting flashed. A flash is what happens when a roll of film, like a 400-foot roll, which is about this big, gets any light on it. And if you have the unfortunate misery of seeing it, it goes like that. It doesn't just creep over the film. The film was dark, and then it goes light. And you're like, damn, I now have to tell my boss that I just flashed a roll of film, which is going to cost us, almost $1,000, something like that, which isn't a lot in production world. It's more about what if you're on location, second day, hour 23, nowhere near a place where you can get more film, and all you needed was 400 more feet. And production does the math, and they say, well, we have one more 400-footer, and your boss goes, yeah, we should have, and then you look up and go, well, no, I flashed a roll earlier. So all of catering, all of talent, all of production, all of crew guys have to wait until either by some miracle you can get another roll of film at 3 a.m. when you're in the sticks in the valley, or the whole production has to get shut down because of your dumb ass, because you mishandled a roll of film. So the responsibility was intense. But my second show that I ever worked on, was actually a music video. I worked a lot of music videos and commercials when I was a crew guy, when I was a AC, assistant cameraman, was a song called American Life by none other than Madonna. And I almost backed over her, too. I don't know what I'm doing with these people. They call the production meeting first day, and I didn't even know we were working for her. It was all kind of hush-hush. We worked on the Hollywood Center studios, and they took our phones. This was way before YouTube or any of that stuff, or TikTok. But they still took our phones because they didn't want photos or videos of what was going on. They didn't want it leaked. The video never got airtime, I don't think. Have you ever heard of American Life by Madonna? I don't think so. I heard it at nausea for 2 days because they play it over and over and over again while the choreographers are directing the talent. There was like a catwalk, not a catwalk like up in the rafters, but a modeling catwalk with not paraplegic, but people with prosthetic limbs. There were ATVs. This was all indoors. I mean, the things I've seen, and I'm just figuring out how to tell the stories in live YouTube because there's so many. And if I jump around too much, people are going to be like, "Well, he's just rambling. Kid doesn't know where he's going with this stuff." But it's not that. It's that. I mean, Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson redid "Personal Jesus." Remember that was Depeche Mode's song. And years later, see, I'm going to jump here. Years later, I met the girl, one of the girls, who was with Depeche Mode when they wrote the song. She was a what do you call them? A groupie. She was a professional groupie. She was a server when I met her, with plastic, and but she was gorgeous. Kippy, shout out to Kipling. She's up in San Francisco now for some reason, or she was 15 years ago. I don't know if she stayed up there. Kipling. She was a favorite of. She was a favorite of. Oh, I'm gonna come back to his name in a minute. But I was talking to her one day about how I worked on Personal Jesus, but it was Marilyn Manson doing it. She said that's crazy that the original guys let him cover it because they had a kind of fight about it years back. So I guess they were all entrenched back in the day. Um, but Personal Jesus, again, they play the song over and over and over again in the sound stages. It's action, and this is real stereo stuff. I mean, this isn't like a little boombox in the corner. This is professional audio stuff. And you've got six girls who are half clad and their breasts are out and they're on flaming horses on this kind of nonsensical carousel, and then Marilyn, Mr. Manson fired half the crew the first night. I was lucky. I was one of the lucky ones. Came back day two, and we all heard that story. He just went to production and was like, "I hate these people. I hate the." I guess he has a serious. This was years ago though. Maybe he's mellowed out, and I don't know because I was kept on. But we wear all black as crew guys because you're not supposed to distract from the show at all or the production at all. You don't want the director looking at you. You should just be another body that's there to do a job and is doing his job quietly, succinctly. And at the end of the shoot, if there's a rap party, it's highly doubtful, but maybe you and your department will get a shout out from production saying, "Great job to video. Never had a problem with them. They were always on top of their game. Gaffers, you guys too. Thank you so much." Something like that. Very rarely will it happen, but that's why you depend on your crew guys, because they were in the thick of it with you, and they'll be like, time traveling machine. Who would you meet from the past if you had? If you had a time traveling machine, who would you meet from the past? That's a damn good question. Not the guy that just farted. I can't taste it through the phone. You look very homeless. I'm in a home. I look like a guy with a scraggly beard on the phone, but not homeless. I just farted. Can you taste it? No. Unfortunately, phones don't have smell yet, but someday they will. So Maryland, man, that was a great show. I mean, a great production, a great couple of days. And mind you, you're making rate. I mean, I was making 450 for 12 probably, and any shoot's going to go over 12. It's going to go to 14, 16, 18. So by the end of each day, you could be making. I'm not making it now, so no one's bragging. And this guy's calling me homeless, or this girl is. But no, I had close to $1,000 days. But you're in Hollywood, and you're in the media capital of the world. It would be like working in New York. You're gonna make big money because people are gonna make actual rates, like union rates. Mind you, I wasn't in the union. That was another thing. The union kept trying to come in and shut down non-union shoots. They would come in and they would offer anybody who wanted to step away from the shoot, meaning kill the shoot. They would offer them waiving of dues, not dues, waiving of your what do you call your original payment? You have to pay like camera is 600, be local 600, and I think the dues like up front were like $2,500, and then it was $400 quarterly. I'm not sure about that, but something like that. So you'd have to pay a ton of money up front, and then you have to pay your quarterlies just to be able to work on these gigs. But that meant that you were serious. It meant you were the real deal. So production would know that you are a professional. You know how to handle yourself. You know how to do your job, and you know how to stay out of the way. Unions like the mob. A lot of it is, and it was created probably mostly by the mob. But like I'm in Boston, and there was a heated situation. I worked as a cameraman shooting concerts at our amphitheater, which I'm gonna call it Great Woods. Some others might know it as the Tweeter Center. It's gone through a lot of hands, or the Comcast Center. I think it's still a Tweeter Center right now. It's in Mansfield, Massachusetts. It's a great venue for shows. I was going there when I was a kid, sitting up on the lawn, shrooming my face off, listening to the Allman Brothers or Steve Miller or any one of the usual suspects that came through, having a great time. Then I went to LA, learned production. Then I came back to Massachusetts, and a friend of mine's brother was one of the directors of those shows. So I was brought in as a newbie camera guy, and I shot down there for 5 or 6 years, I think. Um, Shot everything, shot anything that came through, from James Taylor to again Marilyn Manson to Ozzy. Ozzy soaked me with his sud gun, his soap gun. Killed half my camera. I couldn't look through my it's not your viewfinder. My eyepiece was down, so I had to look at the big screens. That's what we did. It's called IMAG shooting. So we're shooting for the big screens, so the people in the way back can see the talent and the guitar solos and the drummer, from my drummer guy back there. That's awesome. I love doing that stuff. But it was non-union. And remember, a minute ago, I started talking about $1,000 days. I would shoot, say, a Metallica show and get a check a week later for like $74. 74 measly dollars. And that was work. I mean, you got your camera on your shoulder, and you're working it. You're finding everything. There are 3 cameras down there. At least there were when I was there. 2 handhelds, so that's on the shoulder, and then 1 wide, which was up on one of the cement poles that holds the roof up. There was a little, metal porch up there where there's a camera with a big, long lens. I'm trying to get in the phone here. And that would get the close-ups, or that would get the long shots. And the 2 of us that were down in the pit, literally you could lean on the stage while you're waiting for the show to start. That's where we were, in front of the bike racks. So it was awesome. It was totally awesome. I'll be honest with you. Because again, I could turn around and look way up the hill to where I started sitting as a kid, enjoying shows. But it's a grassy area. Like I said, it's an amphitheater. If you don't know it, it's got a ton of seats. Holds 20,000. It has a ton of seats under the roof, but where the roof stops, it turns into like grass where you can bring like a picnic blanket, or can't bring chairs or anything. But if it's a mellow concert, you could actually lay down and just do whatever you got to do and hang out. Um, and then there's a giant fence so that people can't just walk in from the far back, and then it goes into woods. So that's why they call it Great Woods, or that's why they used to call it Great Woods. The best shooting ever. It was so much fun. It was an absolute blast. And then it just wasn't worth it for me after a while. I started directing shows, which puts you in a little booth, and now you're not part of the show. Now you're not right there. Slash would come up, he would put a pic on your camera lens. I'm trying to be in front of you like that. That's what you would see. Mind you, I'm not Slash, but you're part of the show, which was awesome. So, I can't bitch about the money, but at the same time, like I've shot some. Oh, we're talking about union stuff. That's where I'm going off on a tangent about. They went union. They went IATSE. We've all seen the IATSE little flag with the 5 leaves on it. And the guys who discussed our rate bump had no idea what they were talking about. So they didn't bring it up more than I don't think they brought it up more than $30. I think it turned into like $100 for a show. Which any cameraman worth his or her salt is worth $350 for the show. However long it lasts. It doesn't matter if it's 1 minute or if it's 3 or 4 hours. That's your rate. So that's why unions are. That went bad because the people that were from the venue, kind of full time. See, as a cameraman, I'm just a hired gun. I wasn't there to open up the venue in the springtime and clear out the cobwebs and patch up all the cables that had been chewed by rodents, because that happened a lot. Again, you're outdoors really in an amphitheater. You've got a roof, but there's only one back wall. That's the back of the stage as you're looking down at it from the seats and the lawn. There's only that back wall. And behind that back wall is the loading docks. Are the loading docks? Is the loading dock where all of the semis back into, and stagehands unload. And you've got giant road cases with cabling and lights and everything else. It's a very small and tight venue. But that made it more like family. I mean, we had a great time there. I called it summer camp because every summer, Great Woods would open up again, and you'd see all these faces that you hadn't seen all winter because everybody had been hiding out at one venue or another that they did winter work at, because everybody is freelance. Everybody just worked by the day. So, you're just hoping that you've got a gig next week. But when you're union, you're more comfortable because you know that even if you're working sporadically, when you're working, you're making a certain rate that is livable. And I don't mean like by the hour. You could break it down by the hour if you wanted to, but I'm talking about by the job. So, again, most crew guys, gaffer, grip, electric, camera, go by rate. And, very average rate in Hollywood for a cameraman would be 400 to 500 for 14 hours of work. So whether you're there 1 minute or 14 hours, you're getting your, say, $500, which is great for a day. It's a long day, but who cares? I mean, you're also getting fed like a king because if you're working in production, there's going to be food there, and I mean like a huge spread of food because these shows usually have, even a commercial or a music video could have 50 to 150 people all said and done that are working for that day or those 2 days. So you better believe when lunch hits, there better be a ton of long tables and a ton of food. And we're talking steaks and corn on the cob and potatoes and like hearty, like awesome food. So, if you're just a good old boy who's just working and living, you're doing fine. You're fed, you're getting your rate. Quite frankly, you're staying out of trouble because you're making money and not spending it. Because in Hollywood, there are plenty of places to throw money away. I know, I've done it. At one point, I had a stack of credit cards like that I would just hand to servers and be like, run them until you get one that works, and I'll be back tomorrow for them. I mean, I wouldn't do that to strangers, but I would do that with people that I've up at Bird's restaurants. I would do that with them all the time. Just be like, here are all of them. Run it until you get one. Give yourself a nice tip. I don't know. Um, Birds. I was speaking about Birds online earlier too. Um, Union. Yeah, Union's the mom, but it also takes care of you in the back end. Like when you retire, you actually have a retirement plan um, that you've kicked into, like a 401k that you can't touch until you retire. It's not even one of those things that you can play with and like get taxed on. No, no, no. Because again, I've tried. When I was down and out, I called in and was like, "Can I hit my investment portfolio at all?" And they're like, "No, not until you absolutely retire." So, sup? You look very homeless. I just farted. Oh yeah, no fresh comments. But I love you, man. I don't know. Hi, 4 a.m. If you're still out there, I love you too. Running Man. Union is like the mom. Oh, he was the. I might look homeless. I mean, I get it. I'm wearing a V-neck T-shirt right now, which is this. This is Sunday all the way. I shouldn't be wearing a hat inside. And no, I'm not bald. Everybody asks me that. Nah, you're probably bald. No, I have too much hair. That's why I'm hot all the time. But I like the scally. I call it a scally cap. Some people call it a flat cap. That's old school. And the beard is because it's winter. Why not? I mean, I do everything. I do everything. That's a random comment. I also plow snow during the winter because it's fun and it's great money. And I don't do it in a pickup truck going house to house. I have done that. I have done city streets in a pickup truck. But for the last 3 years, I've been working heavy equipment. Um, right now, I'll be in a Komatsu 200, maybe a 250, I forget, but it's Komatsu. And it's a wheel loader, big yellow. You'd think there'd be a bucket on front of it, but of course it's winter, so we take the bucket off and put a 10-foot pusher on the front of it. And I go out and there's a lot, a parking lot, a commercial lot out in the Lexington area. If anybody here is from Massachusetts, it's a it's a chemical making place. It's not like Johnson and Johnson or something like that. I think they make medical. Um, I'm not quite sure what they do, obviously, but there's a giant tank of nitrous in the back that's leaking a little bit that I'm always worried about. I mean, this thing's like 30 feet tall, and it has just a little bit of something seeping out of the bottom of it, or at least it did. But it's so fun. I'm like a kid in a Tonka truck. Oh, where are all the yellow? They're upstairs. The kids' toys are around somewhere. I'm a guy that loves trucks. I've owned a Bronco 83 with 33s on it, 4-speed with the granny gear, captain's chairs, and yes, I took the roof right off immediately. I've owned a couple of Toyotas, a couple of Nissans, a couple of Fords, of course. You know, I've never owned a Chevy. I've only owned a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I haven't owned an actual Jeep like a CJ yet. Yet. Um, so when oh, my battery's dying. I've got to just move this a little bit. So when I got the opportunity to operate this equipment, I was there, man. And they, like I said, the pay is pretty damn good. Uh-oh. I might have to call this one quits for the day. My phone. No, maybe it would be okay with that. So, cameraman, I work in a machine shop right now. That's my full-time gig. And I'll be plowing snow using the old, you know, I should figure out how to get that on my phone. I'll show you guys because it's so much fun. These things are like, again, Tonka trucks. Like you're a little kid in a giant machine that could pull down a house if you wanted or needed it to. We're not talking about damaging anything, but the amount of power is a little bit, you know, it gets your heart going. And they're all climate controlled now. The seats are super cushioned. This is a nice machine. This isn't some cracked seat that some old guy's been smoking a cigar in for 30 years and has bald tires. This is a nice newer machine. Beautiful radio. You can hook up your Bluetooth. I could hook up my Bluetooth. I could actually live stream from the cabin or the cab. I think I'll do that because it's got power everywhere, so the phone won't die like it almost did a second ago. Everyone jumped, so I'm going to cut it out right now. This was a great video, though. I'm glad I got to ramble and catch up to a couple of people. I'm going to jump off for the night, but I'm going to try and be back tomorrow night at maybe the same time, 8 o'clock. So if any of you want to hear me ramble on, I would love to see you again. And I'll have more stories for you and maybe Samir. Well, hi from India. Hi back from Massachusetts. Thanks, man. Samir. I'm just kicking off right now, Samir, but I will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And we'll be talking more about Massachusetts and the life I have led. And hopefully I'll be entertaining enough for all you good folks out there. Until then, I'll see you soon. Have a good night, Samira, though. Thanks for checking in.